Even Chris Froome had no response to Alberto Contador today. For the last couple of years, he's looked a shadow of himself, but Contador has shone on this Vuelta, and finally he takes the stage victory.
It's about how much time Richard Carapaz can take. What is the gap going to be? He crosses it at 2:34. So Primož Roglic now has got 45 seconds to get there. Primož Roglic saves La Vuelta by around 19-20 seconds.
21%, it really is a hurt zone this. Nibali hits it once again. Now can he? Don't forget, he's just got to find 3 seconds here, 4 if he can. Away and Nibali goes once more in the cloud. Oh, it's almost reminiscent of his job on the Giro d'Italia. Out almost the camera, and has Nibali been taken out here as well?
No,
I don't think there was any contact with anybody. It's just gone pop. Here is Horner. What a performance by this man. As we say, 20 years separating the man who's won the stage and the man who quite possibly has just won the Vuelta. 200 metres. This is going to feel like party time. And the grimace turns into a huge grin. And the clock, watch it when he crosses the line, because this is the crucial timings. He gets the bonus as well, don't forget. There is Chris Horner. Has he just done it for the old guard?
Welcome everybody, Between Two Wheels podcast. We are blazing away. Stage 16, Poio to Mas Castro de Herville, 167.9 kilometers. If you're in the chat or you're out here and you're watching this maybe on the replay, hit like, hit subscribe, share the show around. I just do this for basically a handful of people now, it seems like. But we're going to talk cycling. We're going to talk bike racing. We're going to talk Vuelta a España. It's time to piss some people off. That's the way I felt about the race today, and we're going to talk about it. There was a protest continuing, and it disturbed it. Look, why bike racing? Go out there, protest some soccer, right? Go out there and protest something else. I will say this about you. You may not understand this, but I understand where we're at with this whole issue out there in Gaza. If you think the world started on October 7 a few years ago, okay, you're crazy. This has been going on since 1948 and before. So it's long standing. I get it. Okay. And so I do feel but the way the protesting, you're not garnering any sympathy with the people. And at some point you may have the fans, if it keeps happening like this, the protest and shutting the race down, which we'll talk about, you may get the fans out there getting a little unruly with the protesters. Okay. So, and by the way, you're not serving anybody. It's like, what do you have against, Romo, who crashed out and then, ended up not starting today because of this. It could have really done some damage, and that could be what happened. Look, when you have these mountaintop finishes, maybe you do what they did in COVID. Somehow they were able to say no riders on the hill, on the mountain. Maybe we closed the mountain off. I don't know. It is tough because the arena is the great outdoors. There you go. With all that, with that in mind, let's go to the actual, and if you want me to talk politics on this issue, I can go there as well, but we're going to do that. I have a different show that I do that on. The Vuelta, we're up over here on the left-hand side, kind of on the Atlantic coast here now. And there is the route for today. It might be a little bit tough to see it. There's the profile. We have a Cat 3, we have a Cat 1, a 2, and then the finishing, is it a Cat 2 climb? And here's the finish profile. But here's one of the other ones, which we had a real tough section in here, and we're going to see some riders take a look at that. And another climb here that up the, which one was this? I'm not sure. The Castro de Herville, a steep section kick and then pop, and then there you go. So that's the profile that we have for today. And by the way, with this on tap for today, and then here is tomorrow's stage, where it's much worse climb at the Cat 1 at the finish, 17. And then you have the time trial. Okay, people are going to start getting worried. And then you have 19. It's not as bad. And then 20, you're going to have a kicker here as well. That's an HC. Your time is running out. Okay. Now, here's the advantage too. It's not like Sepp or if some of these other riders you see. Jonas is one of the best climbers in the world. He's also one of the best time trialers in the world, okay? Depending on who's there and how he's doing. We saw the waxing that he did in 2023 at the Tour de France. Was it 23? Yeah, the Tour de France time trial there against Roglic, Roglic was there, against Tadej, against everybody, destroyed him. So he can do that. He always puts up good times for the time trial. You know, he's had somewhat questionable last few times going on, but he wins time trials. Although he hasn't won one since he's got that stupid helmet, right? Maybe that's the problem, that stupid helmet. Anyway, the point is, you're going into this, João Almeida needs to be ahead of Tadej. Tadej. Yeah, he needs to be ahead of Jonas going into the time trial. Pidcock is fighting there with Hindley. You know, there's things we got to be worried about. So today's setup for, let's go back to the profile. Today's setup with this last Cat 2 climb is just begging for a break. Campenarts did not start the race today he got sick coming out of the rest day for Visma. Now, Jonas also says, hey, look, I've actually been sick last few days. And you're like, okay. People are like, oh, maybe that's why he wasn't as good on the Angliru. And once again, I'm like 1 second off of the record from 2000. Harass still has it, you know, blood doped and amazing climber and all. So that's still record. You're 1 second off and you just held onto the wheel. You're like 30 seconds better than 2 years ago when you were blazing up there with Roglic dropping Sepp Kuss, destroying everybody. Come on, people. I would love to feel that sick. So there you go. So today's got a thing. So the team's going to control it. There's going to be a breakaway, possibly, likely. Okay. And here we go. Let's take a look at this race for today and see what actually took place. We come in here, 86K to go. There's already a break up the road. Marc Soler of UAE. Okay, I talked about this over and over where, yes, they've won 7 stages, but is it going to be to the detriment of the overall win, right? Today's a day, as an example. You saw yesterday, every time they get up in there, what is the actions of the UAE riders in the group? Are they just blowing themselves out? Then can they help the next day? We've seen Ayuso has had trouble. Jay Vines had somewhat trouble. Großschartner's had to come in to do the work up the Angliru, but then he was the last one. So, you know, who else do you have here? Well, Marc Soler, he goes up the road. He did win the other day. Was it yesterday? So, of course, he gets up in the break. Andre Baggioli for Little Trek, Jefferson Cepeda from Movistar, Nico Denz, Red Bull, and some of these are also like with these climbs. What are you doing up here in the break? You're never going to win out of the break. Nico Denz, you're never going to win out of the break because with some of these other riders. Mikel Landa for Quick Step Soudal, Mari van Savenot also for Quick Step. He's a good climber. Egan Bernal and Ineos with Bob Jungels. Oh, okay, we're looking good here. Sean Quinn. Now, Sean Quinn, and I will also see here that Kevin Vermark, both Americans, Postal Pick and L for Vermark, Easy Post for Sean Quinn, they both get in the break. They've been getting in the break. Kevin Vermark, top 10s galore on this kind of stuff in front of the break. But he's not, it's like, okay, you're super strong, but you're not the strongest. Maybe we need you to back off and pick your days a little better. Both of these guys, because they're just not quite getting there. Finlay Pickering, who for Bahrain Victorious, who was a last-minute pick for them. He had to replace, what's his name? Italian for them, who got second or third in the Giro a few years ago. It'll come to me at some point. Clement Braz Afonso for Groupama FDJ, along with his teammates Rudy Millard and Bruick Roland. Victor Gernelak from Arkea. Louis Roland from Arkea, Kevin Vermark, like I said, Postal Picanel, and Jake Stewart of Israel Primatech. Curtis says, "Hi Tyler, hey, what's up? What's up? Let's see if this works here. Yeah, there you go. Hey, what's up?" The problem you have with someone like Jake Stewart, as an example, complete waste unless you're going to put him in as some sort of satellite rider for between the climbs. Because that's where he's just not going to be there for the final. I don't understand. Okay, you get in your break, but it's a completely wasted day for you, especially when we have coming up in a few days a little bit of a lumpy one that Jake Stewart's going to be possibly going for. Why not save yourself? Why are you the guy in there? Get a different Israel Primatech rider. Maybe he feels it's most safe from the protesters being up the road. Anyway, that is the group up the road, and there we go. So Egan Bernal's up there. I mean, he's had an up and down career, right? 2019 wins the Tour de France, Tour of California, I want to say 2018, around there, winning everything, best climber in the world. People have come up to him. He got in a wreck, and then he came back from the injury, and then he got hit by a postal car, I think it was last year, pretty bad. So he's been having some trouble, but this race has shown, at least, he's riding well. He's like 15 minutes down going into today, but the break, it's up the road. Mikel Landa's up the road as well. Look, Mikel Landa saved the Vuelta for Sepp Kuss 2 years ago, and 2023 is the one that pulled him over the end. Sepp goes, I'm buying you a beer. Always. We've had Free Landa coming out before, remember? Free Landa. Mikel Landa, he rode for a bunch of different teams, given a chance to be the leader. He's an amazing domestic, but he crashed really hard in the Tour de France this year. Went out, I think it was stage 1, actually, of the Tour, trying to be there for Remco. But he's at least made a resurgence. He's not riding great, but he's Mikel Landa. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna that is him up the road. Yeah. So so anyway, this group is up the front. They keep the gap keep growing. Mikel Landa is trying to get what he can, getting up the road, trying to get someone to come up with him. He finally gets Egan. This is like 60K to go. He gets Egan Bernal to come up there. He gets, I think it was Alfonso for Groupama FDJ. They go over the top of this climb. It starts to do some raining. And it's kind of some nasty little weather there up on the coast. Meanwhile, Marc Soler, 35K to go. He says, I want to get up there with those guys. And he starts just blasting away. Now, to his credit, he gets going pretty good up there. Now, the two riders get up, Alphonse and I think it was Roland for FDJ, both make it up to the front group with Mikel Landa and Egan Bernal. Solid. And then Nico Den somehow gets his way up there. It's fantastic, but once again, Nico Denz is going to ride as hard as he can, and he's not going to be the guy that's going to be there at the finish, just by virtue of the way the road is. Meanwhile, was this Fortunato? I think it was. He went down really hard. His buttocks is all exposed. There you go. Nice little shot of some ass through some shorts there. 23K to go. These riders have now 7 minutes over the peloton, and the peloton starts to go, you know what? We're going to have to actually do some chasing, and they do. Now, I don't know if we're going to show it here, but they do a little bit of chasing, which is Visma was just on the front, setting tempo, perfectly fine. Once again, you're out one guy by not having Campenarts, but you still have Kelderman. You have a few other riders. We're going to just sit here. We're going to make it. We're not going to do too much. However, a few riders, Bahrain for Torsten, they start to have their top 10 in jeopardy, because Egan Bernal, who's 15 minutes out, is now 7. He's going to start taking inroads into that, and they start getting a little worried. Meanwhile, I think that was Roland was at he gets dropped here. This is Bruac Roland. He gets dropped from the front group. Jonas at 18.6, although there's 6 minutes back from that, up the second to last category climb. He gets a flat tire. Luckily, he had Ben Tollett with him. He had 3 riders. He had Ben Tollett, he had Sepp, he had Jonas. Jonas goes to the front, just kind of shuts this thing down. Quick bike change. Jonas gets on Tollett's bike, pops in, regains up to the... Meanwhile, Clement Alphonse is up there in the break, riding really good with Mikel Landa and Egan Bernal. They had dumped his teammate out already. He gets a flat. This flat did not go quite as quick with the Shimano support. He is not going to be on the front, but he does try to claw himself back. Meanwhile, the group behind, 210, you've got Sean Quinn, you've got Bruac, I think, in here, the little Trek rider and Arkea rider. They're just not going to ever make it up there. Now, the word came down. It was about here with 15 or so K to go as the big rider's going over the top. Pidcock heads out, and on his wheel are the 2 left Visma riders along with their leader, Jonas, those 3 of them. A little bit of separation, but there's not enough. And it could be, except for the word came out that there was a protest on the last climb. Therefore, they were going to finish this race 8 kilometers to go. 8 kilometers to go. They were going to skip the entire last climb. They were going to take time there, and they were going to take the winner there. Now, everyone was notified, and it was obvious that they at least knew at the 8K to go banner that that's where it was. Mikel Landa, there's a little bit of a rise coming into this thing still. Mikel Landa and them still have a decent advantage. Landa comes in there. They see the final sprint. You can see it up. It's up a little bit of a rise. Egan Bernal kicks hard. They make distance over Mikel Landa to get the win. It's a little bit disheartening because it would have been fun to see these two battle it out on the climb. Would Egan Bernal have been able to beat? I don't know. We don't know. That's something we won't know. Meanwhile, the main group comes across. They got rid of Felix Gall. I noticed that. That's about the only rider I could really see that really got spit out on this thing. I think the FDJ rider, which one was it? Alfonso. I think he actually came within a few seconds of getting the catching those riders at the finish. So here we go. Let's take a look at the results for stage 16. Let's go to the browser view here. There you go. Egan Bernal gets the win. Same time with Mikel Landa. They take all the time bonuses here. Bruac Roland, he actually came within 7 seconds, so he was closing down on that along with, and then Nico Denz back there. Alphonse, he comes back in 5th place, and Bob Jungles, Kevin Vermark 7th, Finley Pickering and Sean Quinn for 8th and 9th, and Rudy Millard at 10th, and Jefferson Cepeda on down until you get to the Visma group, Jonas coming down there, 5:52. So they shut this down about 2 minutes. João Almeida, all the big riders in there. However, let's go to the GC because we are going to see a little bit of a change here. Pellizzari actually moves 1 up over Felix Gall, who lost a decent amount of time. How much time did Gall actually lose here today? Gall, there you go. He comes in at 6:46, so he loses about 50 seconds. Skips a spot there from 5th to 6th. Gal, now he's in between Felix Pellizzari and Matthew Riccatello, but they don't lose any different time. Sepp Kuss there still. Jorgensen in 11th. Remember, Junior Lesurf moved up the other day. He moves down a spot today. Torsten Troen actually moves back up. Egan Bernal moves up into 12th place now at 9:36. Cut some time off his grand total. Kevin Vermark, he also moves up there into first. Now, points race, no change there. Still Mads Pedersen, KOM, still Jay Vine. Youth jersey, still Pellizzari over 32 seconds, and we've got 32 seconds, and you've got Team UAE. Now, let's take a look here. Egan Bernal, as far as wins go, he finally won today in 2025. He has won a little bit here this year. He won the road race in Colombia. He ran the individual time trial in Colombia. Other than that, it's back to 2021 Giro. So not much for him for the winning. Now, what about Mikel Landa? I know it's been somewhat of a dry spell for him as well. He's on 16 wins. Bernal's on 22. Vuelta a Burgos back in 2021. So they basically have had somewhat of a dry spell. I know Mikel Landa's changed somewhat of his trajectory and the type of riding he's been doing. So it's a little bit different. There we go. So that was a stage today. Like I said, let's go to tomorrow, stage 17. We are going to get a climb. Got to keep the protesters off the road. Don't spoil this race. I love this race. I know there's death going on. Greta's over there in a flotilla going down. I get it. I'm not in favor of the way the protest is going. I'm just telling you that. I don't think it does. I guess because they're on TV and they're like, yes, they need to get, they just want to be heard. I'm like, this is not how it works, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. Plus, it's bike racing. What are you doing? You think someone over there in Israel is like, oh, well, since they're protesting bike racing, since it's the Vuelta, now I'm interested in changing my ways. I'm not going to go take a settlement out anymore. It's just not going to happen. All right, so there you go. Disappointed. Marc Soler, I didn't talk about him. He's up in the break. He's chasing. He drops almost that entire group. He gets within 20 or so seconds. His team then comes to the front and says, João is, because Felix Gauchardner got popped out. Everybody got popped out because they're trying to get in breaks. They go, you need to go back and help out João Almeida. So he sits up and goes back as they then say, oh, the race is shortened. I don't think he would have made it up there anyway. It is telling that he blew his legs out like that today. That's not even how a satellite rider goes. You're not going to get the win. It seems pathetic. Dirty shame, ruining the sport. Well, I mean, I don't know if you're being facetious or not, but it's not great image. But it's not the sport doing it, right? It's the protesters. And once again, I just don't know what you can do. But with that in mind, I think there's other things that have ruined the sport more than the protesters, but I appreciate that. Like and subscribe out there. Dorian Waller. Coming to the show, at least like and subscribe and be here for us. We're doing daily recaps. Gonna do tomorrow. Like I said, what's the prediction for tomorrow? I really, let's assume this race goes off unhinged, at least the last, whatever. This is really just your hockey stick style. I mean, it's got a Cat 3 in the front there, but I think this is enough to control it. You're gonna have a break. You're not gonna get a huge, it depends, right? I can see a break getting up the road. You're going to have a Soler. You're going to have Ayuso. You're going to have J-Vine. They're all going to go up in the road to try to blow their legs out so they don't have to sit back there and help Ayuso. I mean, Almeida, so they don't have to help Almeida. But I don't know that a break, especially after today, neutralizing today, you've got Pidcock, you've got Riccatello, you've got Jai Hindley. They want Almeida. The time is running short. You need to start making inroads. So you can't just let every stage go by. You do have the time trial the day after tomorrow, but then you've got a medium, sprinter, maybe a Mads Pedersen day, and then you have the killer. So, and then they may cancel the final stage. So you've got a lot of time running out. You don't have much time left. Got to do something. With that in mind, I see a GC try tomorrow. What is the profile for the last climb here? Yeah, 8.8 kilometers at 9.5%. Some steep stuff in the front here. That's prime Jonas Pidcock attack. Get some separation. See if you can drill this to the finish. We will see you tomorrow. You know what? We didn't even show off here that we have multiple camera angles and everything else for you guys. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Out.